Last year, we reviewed this, the Trimui brick, an innovative product in a sea of clones. They came out with a style, a very distinct style, with the two lights in the center there and the buttons at the bottom, and just an overall aesthetic that is very recognizable. It had additional cool things like the metal plate on the back and the removable caps on this. So, is it any surprise that at some point someone would try to copy this style? It may be a little surprised that it's taken this long, but today we're going to take a look at a product called the L35, and the 35 for 3.5 inch, as you can imagine, that evokes the spirit and cloniness of the Trimui brick. But is it just a crappy clone? Does it have some merit to it? Does it have some good build quality? Have we discovered another Battle XP G350? You're going to have to watch and see as we unbox and take a look at this, the L35, which invokes the spirit of the Trimui brick. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode of our content. But let's dive in and find out, is this worth the $35 or not? I've often wondered, what does Fido do when I'm not home? I've wondered, is my pet behaving, or are they actually doing some damage to my house? Do I need to invest in some sort of way to hold my dog accountable? You got to be kidding me. I live alone. How is there a lit cigar and beer? I better invest in this product. No, wait. I don't sell home security, and I've never seen a Chihuahua lit a cigar. Oh my God, that'd be crazy. Hey, Deadheads, welcome to the channel, or welcome to the channel for the first time, new Deadheads. Today, we're going to take a look at. I've covered a lot of handhelds, as you know, unless you're new. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. And let me get to this really quick. I hope you watch the rest of the video. I really do. But if you want to know, is this another Battle XP G350, or is this a honorable ode to Trimui brick? It falls short. It has an awful D-pad, so awful that it ruins the rest of the experience. So no, it's not. But the first thing is this box. This is like the most generic box I have seen. Again, I review a lot of things. It does have a picture of it on it, and that at least is accurate, but there's no inlay on it. There's no marking to identify what it is. And as you go around the side of the box, there's nothing. There is just a sticker on the back, and the sticker doesn't even identify it as what we have been calling it. We've been calling it the L35, or the listing did. This says a TO95. So I wasn't even sure that I got what I ordered when I first opened it. But let's get this thing open and see, is there anything better inside the box? As we open the box, we see the handhelds there in our typical fashion. So we'll move that out of the way. And we have a tray, and there is just only one thing in here, really. There is a USB cord. So we have our USB A to C. It does have a little orange color, and it's a white cord that matches the white handheld, so it's kind of nice. We do have an inspection sticker, so somebody inspected it. And then we do have our manual. Now, here's the first hint of L35. So it does say L35, so, not sure why that sticker on the back said that, and there's no other branding. But looking at the manual, it is in Mandarin and English, so we do have both. And the manual is pretty good. It actually has some useful information on here. So, sometimes these manuals are terrible, but this one actually has a pretty good layout. Some misspellings like all of them, but that's the manual. But there's just no screen protector, nothing else in there. There's no replaceable caps for the shoulders. So whatever it was trying to do and look like the Trimui brick, it stopped at the front. So let's put this back together, get all this inside, and let's actually get the handheld itself out and take a look at it. Hey Deadhead, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to talk to you today about this, the Kinhank K56. This is an amazing handheld, a 5.5-inch, very comfortable to hold handheld. But even better, our friends at Kinhank have put this with a fully curated, awesome ROM collection that has everything set up for beginners. So if you want to purchase this for somebody that just wants to grab and play, this is the perfect handheld for that. When I got this for review, I was really impressed with the curation aspect of it. Now, the price of this is a little bit more, but with my coupons and our friends over at AliExpress, you can get this at a good price. Again, this is the Kinhank K56, and it is a handheld that I like a lot, especially for its awesome curated ROM collection. It can play reliably up through N64, Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, Nintendo DS. It can also dabble just a little bit in PS2 and GameCube. Anyways, check my description at the bottom for your codes to save. And we want to thank our friends at AliExpress as always for sponsoring this video. We'll see you next time. Back to the show. Now, first hands-on impressions of this is it starts off good because this seems to have a nice look. It does look in person a lot like our brick as we show them here side by side. It is definitely mimicking that style and looks like it quite a bit. Just a bigger brother to it with sticks, which is fine. The build quality on this feels good at first as we start to hold it. It's got a nice laminated screen as always, and it does seem to have very good sticks on it from appearance, although these are still not the genful sticks we all want all of these to start using. But let's test it out and find out about how this does. Testing those buttons, and yeah, the buttons are good. They feel a lot like the buttons on the Trimui. They're very quiet like they are on the Trimui. They do stick up a little higher than the Trimui one does, which is kind of actually nice. So I do like the buttons. There's nothing wrong with them. The middle buttons function, those are clicky and kind of loud, so that is a little bit annoying or whatever. We do have the two holes here, so it doesn't do anything, unfortunately. It should light up like this, so I don't understand mimicking it and not adding the extra. Trying to keep this thing at $30 though, maybe that's what it was about, because this is really cheap. This is now down into the 50s, but it's still $50, $55. So maybe that's what it's about. But our first big problem comes, and the one that really makes this handheld just so disappointing, is the D-pad. This D-pad is ridiculous. There's no pivot. It's like you can push it straight down, the entire thing straight down. And it just is a bad experience. Even before I actually played any games on this and I just kind of tested it, I could tell this was going to be a bad experience. Now, thinking maybe it's an isolated incident, unfortunately, I know it's not, because other people have received this, and yeah, it's just bad. It's a bad D-pad. Now, there's been some very inventive deadheads out there that have tried to fix this, and somebody on the Discord actually made a little modification, but you shouldn't have to do that with a handheld. I mean, come on, a basic, good, decent D-pad should still come in a $30 handheld, so no excuses there. Now, the sticks, again, are fine. No problem. So if you use this and you just substitute the stick for a lot of the gaming, I guess it's fine, but you're not going to do any fighting on the sticks. So this is definitely not a fighting game friendly handheld. Now go check out our review of what I said is the best. If you're a fighting game fan, the absolute best fighting game handheld to get right now is the Retroid Pocket Classic 6 button. But besides that, yes, and you can hear it, the D-pad is just trash. This is trash, unfortunately. Then, looking around the side of it, we do have two SD card slots. So here's another bright spot. It's got a nice look to it. The buttons are nice. The sticks are adequate. It's got a nice looking screen, but it does also have two SD cards. Why is this important? Because this is yet another EMU-elect. So having those two cards means that custom firmware can come to this, hopefully. Looking around the back and the shoulder buttons, and I've added a little Target sticker there. The shoulder buttons are nice. They're a little bit loud, not real loud, but they do feel nice. They feel, some people don't like these, but again, we don't have, interchangeable stick caps, and it's not even the same style as that. So it's kind of like, once we get to the back, we're not trying to mimic the brick anymore. but I do like the shoulder buttons. So we have something that has a nice build quality for $30 to $35 that has nice buttons, nice sticks, looks nice, but then has just this terrible D-pad. And it is so disappointing, guys. This was so disappointing with this because of the D-pad. Now, we do have a volume rocker, and then on the bottom, we do have a DC and OTG port along with the headphone jack. Now, this back also has this textury back, which it's a little different, but I kind of got to like it. It's very grippy. You're not going to slip with this, and I don't think, unless you're used to these kinds having a grip, whatever, it seems okay. The fact that you may be using these sticks more than the D-pad on this thing, though, kind of kind of negates that. But holding it with the D-pad, which again is just terrible, it does feel nice. Now, we've seen some people open this up. I'm not going to open this up because there's no real easy access to the battery. But this is indeed inside, actually, surprise, an R36S board. So this is really just an R36S clone in this new shell. And the R36S usually has a decent D-pad, so that makes this even more puzzling. I don't understand what happened here. Maybe this is their first console and they just didn't know that they had to do something extra. Maybe they thought you just pop this in. I'm not sure. But again, we have something that looks nice. The speakers are on the back, so it's backfiring speakers, no surprise there. But the layout is the same as the R36S. I have this clear case here. Check my link description if you want something like that. And this is meant for the R36S, and it fit in just perfectly with all the ports in the right place, all the cutouts. So yeah, this is an R36S. That's what it is, guys. And it would have been very, very good if it could have been in any sort of good, decent, halfway decent D-pad. But let's get this thing booted up and take a look at the software. Hey guys, it's me, Dead Fred. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to take a moment and just talk about this little tiny controller. So this little thing is so cool. It has the shape, which reminds me if like someone cut off the bottom of a Miu or maybe a Powkiddy V10. It's kind of just like the same bottom part there. So imagine if you just took that part of it and turned it into a tiny little pocketable Bluetooth controller, complete with shoulder buttons that last up to 8 hours on a single charge, has a lanyard, and you can take with you anywhere you go. This thing is so convenient, and you can pick one of these up on AliExpress. So I'll leave a link in the description. We want to thank our friends at AliExpress for providing this and sponsoring our channel. So make sure you check it out. Anyways, this thing is pretty awesome. Again, it is the IINE Bluetooth mini controller. Back to the show. Okay, so booting this thing up, we do get an L35 screen, and this is the typical boot screen you'd see when you see sort of an EmuELEC system, which this is. Now, the interesting thing is the picture they show some kind of different software menu in their picture. So I was kind of expecting maybe we get something unique here. Again, something that looked great like the Trimui, but no, we get EmuELEC. And again, it's okay because EmuELEC has gotten better, or maybe I've just gotten more used to it. So it's not terrible. Also, because there's the dual slots, there is hope for custom firmware on this. I do believe that the K56S version of ArcOS is already booted on this, but it is a Rockchip 3326. It's got a lot of potential, but none of these custom firmwares can fix this D-pad. I can't stress this enough, guys. If you're going to pick this one up, you're going to have to probably open it up and do a little bit of modification to get that D-pad to be decent. And even with the modification, I'm not sure it's going to be a great D-pad. Now, whether you can replace this with an R36 D-pad, I don't know. So if you're a tinkerer, you might love something like this, a project warrior. Want to get in and try to fix this, it might be great. But testing this and looking through the software, we get our typical experience that we've seen on these 640 by 480 3.5-inch vertical handhelds running Emulec, all these clones of clones of clones. So there's no surprises here as I show a little footage, but this had the experience that I like. Now let me talk about the sound a little bit. The sound is not bad, but again, it's backfiring speakers. So I would have loved to see if they could have at least put the speakers on the front here. You know, the Trimui brick has speakers up front and they sound good. This would have benefited from doing something like that if they're going to mimic it. But what they really just did is, this is an R36S, so they really couldn't mess with the internals. It's all the same on the internals. They just did another shell, so that kind of explains a lot of it. So maybe somebody will make a proper 3.5-inch version of this with sticks, which would be great. Hey, looking at you, Trimui. Let's do it. Even though there's that many 3.5 inches, I'm sure you could do something a little better with that. Anyways, the experience was not bad. If this had had the D-pad that I'd wanted, I would have said, guys, it's good. It's $30, $35. Go get this. It's as good as an R36S. It may be better if you like the aesthetics of it. The buttons are definitely pretty good on this, and the shoulder buttons are good too. So that's it, guys. This was exciting when I saw the listing, and I think many people that saw the listing were excited for this, but it just didn't pan out. This D-pad is just not good. This is another pass from Dad Fred, unfortunately. But if you want to pick one up, look at my link in the description. Use my codes to save money. Remember to hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones, because tomorrow is never promised. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Dad Fred out.